Man, it is so nice for all of us to be like on the same page and like not really having to worry about getting like spoiled to stuff anymore, kind of. I know like episode titles and synopses are out right now, which by the way I will not be talking about or discussing, so please don't leave anything like that in the comments talking about that or asking me to cover it or ruining it for other people, because those were leaked, so just don't do that. But outside from that, like everyone's on the same page for the episodes, so it's like so great, because, you know, like I said, we're not gonna get spoiled to anything, we're not gonna see like a random thumbnail on YouTube, like it's just, we're all on the same page, and it's awesome. And it's also awesome because this is going to be a King episode, and just to prep, I do have King here on ready on the standby, which is great because like out of all of our like main characters, King is the one we know the least about, so I'm excited to learn more about him and his past and everything like that. But we also get like Lilith, Hootie, Luce, and King at the very least, and I think Ida might tag along too, just based on some of the promo stuff. So yeah, so we're gonna get to see like the whole group like work together, which is gonna be really, really nice. But yeah, lots to look forward to. So let's do it. Echoes of the Past. Oh, wow. We already just getting started off with a flashback. Okay. I see how it is. This is gonna be it, yeah, with the shorter hair. Well, is that the Kingy boy? Is that where they first meet? Oh man, that is probably the shortest scene before an opening we've ever gotten before. Oh man, this episode's gonna be great. All right, Echoes of the Past. Oh, look, the little drag of Luce. Oh, you're trying to figure out more? Oh, come on, Luce, you can do it.
She has more experience with unruly.
Oh my god, Lilith. She's gotta make it perfect.
Watching the ink dry is the best part.
Oh, Lilith's the kind of person that would like think watching grass grow is fun. These two are so
What's
sweet.
going on?
Invisibility? Luce, you are
definitely lasts as long as I hold
stepping
my
up the game
Pretty cool,
here.
huh? Don't ever do
Yes.
that again.
Do that again. However
Yes.
did you accomplish it?
Man, look at Lilith looking to Luce for like advice.
As the
This is
lead historical
great.
scholar
I
of the
love
Emperor's
this.
Coven.
Defend your
Oh no.
I'm
Look at
done
Hootie.
for. Historically, demons have never been united under a single rule until Belos. There's no such thing as a king of demons.
Interesting.
Blast!
Oh boy, here we go.
Love it
More on
almost
this.
as much as I was
Oh,
feared.
the little code
One
isn't in the
dark
same spot as
an evil
before.
spell
That's
was
unfortunate. I love the little Hollow
I
Knight
remember
plush in the
plenty.
background.
I'm falling from a massive
That's
height
where the
as
shot's
an
from,
evil
okay.
Curious Demon King. Who is it? Me. It's me.
Your dedication.
Sorry, Suki. There's a king here. Oh, this is like the dog who has the branch who can't fit like
All right.
across the
You two
bridge.
shall regret ever doubting me. We're going to my castle.
Oh, you remember that? Where that is? Oh man! Hey, don't hit my microphone. Just like house organs. Oh, it's okay, everybody. Oh man, how's Ida gonna get there? Also, there's hair everywhere now.
Oh
my gosh.
no, not again.
Oh,
Not again! This has happened before? Excuse me? What? A flying bathtub? Alright. What is like that obelisk? This is gonna be such a lore-heavy episode.
here in Ida's arms, and she carried me away.
What was Ida doing here in the first place?
Thank you,
Oh
Lucifer.
man, look at Hootie!
But
Oh
couldn't we
gosh,
have landed
Hootie.
a little
That's a keyhole.
door
Is
fit
this
for a
gonna be
tyrant.
connected
That's me.
to the portal in some way?
and this symbol. I've never seen anything quite like this.
Really on me.
Oh, the
Look,
S's!
This predates any language I know.
Wow. Oh gosh, there's gonna be so much to unpack here. I'm pretty sure that symbol was used in some of the promotional art by one of the crew members. Oh man, look at Lilith using the light spell. Oh, there's these things that are gonna attack them.
These carvings, they're ancient.
Okay, there's
Are
like the
you saying
beard.
That he may actually have been the king of demons?
Ida's probably on her third cup of apple blood by now, and the last time it was real hard getting her off the roof.
Oh man. Ida. Oh, Luce, are you gonna go off on your own? Is this gonna be the shot where like Luce's light orb and then there's like the hallway of all the statues?
Boy, was it awkward to sit in.
Is that the Titan in the back there? And it has a staff? Oh god, there's gonna be so much to look at. Okay. What
And
are
that's how
these
I would
things?
annihilate. It's hard to remember. But that handsome devil looks familiar, huh? Don't worry, they can't hurt you.
I think they can. Oh yeah, here we go.
Dang, girl, you've been practicing.
You may admire my progress when we get out of here alive.
Get Lilith being such a good student. Good timing,
Get
Ida.
outta here.
Oh, is this how
I'll
Ida's gonna
hold
do
back
like
and meet you
magic now? She's
outside.
just gonna use potions? It's pretty dope.
It's been a while. Miss me?
Oh man.
It can't
It
get
can't
past the
leave?
entrance.
Interesting.
You
Oh,
don't
buddy.
believe this is my castle.
Oh, here we go.
It's time for me to
Flashback.
tell. 8 years ago, I was looking for a place to hide from the
8?
Emperor's coven.
Oh, Kingy boy. With his little both horns. Oh, you little baby. Oh,
Did
he
you
built
make
them
all
himself?
these?
Oh, and that's how his horn got chipped.
Well, that's what you do when you get a new pet. But then, a king amongst his subjects.
King.
Oh.
And that's how you got the idea that you were some despotic overlord.
You're lying.
Oh,
I'm not.
no. And she just kept that with her the whole time?
You're all just making fun of me like usual, right? No.
Oh, buddy.
No.
Oh, buddy.
I don't know what to do, Luce. I can't tell what's real and what's fake.
Man, Alex did a really good job with these scenes. Is he actually connected to the Titan? Is he the spawn of the Titan? Because there was a book in Understanding Willow from the library.
Boop. No more
Aw.
secrets, okay? You have to promise me.
Oh god, there's probably gonna be so many secrets this season.
Special delivery! Pain!
Oh my god! Cannon. Oh yeah! Invisibility spell. Alright. Oh my gosh. Even Lilith is like, oh no. I'm glad that Ida's like
wanted to do something
potion
like
making is coming into play here. Oh good job, Hootie. Yeah, you better get away from that hole, buddy. Like an egg?
It looks like that creature was made to guard whatever was in here.
Were they trying to attack Luce, Ida, and Lilith to protect King? That was a symbol that was in the art.
It meant sun. I don't know how I know that, but I do.
The son of the Titan? Is that book gonna come back into play from Understanding Willow? The Titan and his spawn, or whatever it was called?
Sorry, were we
got a
discussing
Polaroid?
important revelations? I'll just do this later.
No, document this all now, Lilith.
I'm not that old. It could be possible.
You're 8.
Would you help me? What if it's my name?
Oh, and they just glue it back into
Louis.
place.
Too bad.
History Track needs to make another one of these. It has the fixed horn.
Now, Jean-Luc.
Oh gosh.
We'll be there for King, no matter what.
Oh man. There's gonna be a lot to unpack with this episode. This was probably the most, like, lore-filled episode we've gotten. Oh man, that was really, really good. Oh man, like I said, it's so nice being on the same page as everybody else. Like, not having any of this spoiled. This is so great. Oh man, that was a really good episode. Man, it is nice for everyone to finally be on the same page and not having to worry about leaks. As great as it was to see Separate Tides and escaping Expulsion early, there were lots of people who weren't respectful and spread leaks like a wildfire. But now we are all equally blind going forward with episodes, and to start us off, we have a lore-filled one with echoes of the past. But before we get into any of that, let's go over our secret messages and codes. Our episode title and message from last season was A Witch Loses a True Way. Since the official Disney press site released more episode titles and synopses, we now have Seek the and a word starting with K. And before you get your typing fingers going, I know there were a bunch of episode titles and synopses leaked. But like I've said before, I only cover official news here. So unless it comes from Disney TVA, the Disney press site, Dana, or a cast or crew member getting an explicit okay, I don't cover it. But I feel this word starting with K could either be key or king. The key is very important in getting Luce home, and King and his past will be important as well, as we saw in this episode. But we also have our symbol message. From last season, we have 2 witches torn apart, now alone, 2 hearts of stone, a curse of feathers and mud, a betrayal of blood. For season 2, we have seething seas. And this code was by far the hardest one to find, and I have to shout out PK2317 for helping me out in finding this one and then letting me use their screenshot. Because my god, if you did not have this episode in 1080p streaming quality, you would not be able to see this code on the box. It translates to and, so now we have seething seas and. Not a whole lot added to the message, which kinda just stings more since this code in particular was so hard to find, but moving on. Now, usually with these reviews, I cover plot and lore before character development, but since this episode in particular was pretty lore heavy, I figured I would start with character development first. Just in general, I feel like this was a good episode for the group as a whole. In the start of the episode, we see Luce and Lilith's continued growing relationship. Lilith is still a devoted student and seeks Luce's advice and approval as a teacher, which I really love considering how much older Lilith is than Luce but still values her input and teachings. And I feel these two in general will really be the spearhead for the group in finding out more glyph combos. I also liked that Lilith was willing to go along with Luce in indulging King with his story. Lilith is a character who looks to logic and reason, so the fact that she was willing to do that shows that she is willing to be a team player and support the group. There is also the continued friendship between Lilith and Hootie. Hootie literally protecting Lilith anytime there is danger in this episode, and Hootie will always be an easy target and a source of comic relief, but it's nice to see that he has a friend in Lilith. But I love how their friendship is even confusing to King and Luce. I think it just shows how unlikely of a duo these two are, but it's also the most wholesome. Now, Ida and King's relationship this episode is interesting, especially since this episode started off with a flashback of the two and how they met. I'll get into the details a bit more later, but I think Ida coming clean about King and his backstory was really big for the two. Obviously, King doesn't take it well at first, but him knowing the truth is a big step for him now, so he can truly find out who he is and where he came from. I also just find it endearing that Ida took a liking to King and was the one who named him and gave him his collar. Like, as much as Ida tries to be an intimidating witch, she's really just a big softie at heart. And while Ida didn't intend to hurt King or fill his head with lies, she thought she was doing the right thing in making him happy. But Ida does apologize for her actions, and even though King and Ida find themselves at odds sometimes, there is still trust between the two. And King forgives Ida, and both of them make promises to not keep secrets anymore. Kind of going along with King and Ida, Luce and King had an interesting development this episode as well, since King finds out that Luce didn't truly believe his story. I have kind of always seen Luce and King's relationship as siblings for the most part, Luce being the cool older sibling that is always there to support King, the younger sibling who is always looking to prove himself and win people's approval. So the reveal that Luce doesn't believe his story is really heartbreaking for him since there was already so much trust established. Obviously, Luce had the best of intentions and never wanted to hurt King, but sometimes being honest and facing the truth is the less painful way to go, even if it's harder. The scene on the beach is probably one of my favorite scenes between Luce and King, and also the best voice acting work that Alex has done in the show thus far. But I think the scene just solidifies that even through the rough parts of their relationship, Luce and King will always have each other's back. Luce apologizes for lying about believing King, but is also that moral support in giving King hope that there is some truth to his story. She even notes that while King may have entered this world alone, he has Luce, Ida, Hootie, and Lilith now. So even if the truth is hard to face, he'll have the right people around him, which ends up being the thing to convince him to trust in Luce, a trust that I feel no matter what happens between the two will always be there. But looking at King on his own, he made some big progress with accepting the truth of his past. Since the start of the show, he has had these ideas of being a king of demons, but now he doesn't have those fantasies holding him back anymore, which gives him the clarity to move forward and figure out who he really is and where he came from. Which is huge for him because it often felt like King tried to make himself bigger than he actually was since he had this idea of himself in his head. But now we'll get a look at King without feeling the weight of having to live up to some unrealistic expectations. Even him questioning if he can still go by the name King was an indicator that he was ready to start moving forward and leaving the King of Demon things behind, which I can't wait to see because I see that being huge character development and also a major plot and lore thread going forward. So overall, some really good stuff with the character development for the whole group and especially King. all of them having his back as he now enters a new chapter in his life and finding out more about himself. So with character development out of the way, let's get into the relevant plot, lore, and world building for this episode because oh boy, there was a lot. We start this episode with Luce practicing her glyphs along with Lilith, and we can even see some of her notes, such as glyphs equal different meanings for placement and light, but also power, reflection, color. There's even a cute little doodle of Luce in the corner, which is just so Luce. But I always love seeing Luce's dedication to learning more about magic and glyphs, and now she has Lilith to help her out as well. As evident by her noting how helpful Lilith's history books have been in her developing our first new glyph combo, Invisibility. It only lasts for as long as the user can hold their breath, but we're still making progress and I can't wait to see how Luce and the others use this in the future. Now, Lilith has always been a favorite character of mine, but now that she's with the group, she is going to be our history buff, the lead historical scholar in the Emperor's Coven, in fact, which makes her even more of a favorite character of mine. When King protests that he is the king of demons during the play fight, Lilith says demons have never united under a single rule until Emperor Belos. Thus, there is no such thing as a king of demons. Now we know that Belos came to power over 50 years ago, so that's how long the demons have been united under a ruler. We haven't seen many demons, or at least demons that have been a focus in episodes, so we're not entirely sure what life was like for them prior to Belos. Maybe with King looking to discover who he is and to find his dad, we'll learn more about that in future episodes. But with Lilith's dismissal of King's claims, he tells a story similar to what we saw in A Lying Witch and a Warden. This time with the addition of a spell shrinking him to what he is now. Having seen the episode now, we know this to be untrue, but it's still interesting to see King's interpretations of his memories. We also get him recalling the most important memory of him falling from a massive height, which ends up being the thing that helps the group get closer to the truth with King later on. Eager to prove himself though, King wants to bring the group to his castle, a location which he does remember despite the fuzziness of his memories. And then we finally get Hootie leaving the Owl House as Porto Hootie. And by the way, Dana's Twitch stream had 2 lies and a truth, and since Gus did hit a growth spurt and Hootie did leave the Owl House, that means Camilla will likely beat someone up this season. So the real lie was that there would only be one truth. Now with the group taking off, that just leaves Ida, and I find it interesting that Ida says not again when she reads King's note. Like, has this happened before of him trying to go back and Ida refused? That would make sense considering that this episode was the first time Ida came clean about his past. We also see that Ida has an alternative way to fly without Owlbert and the staff. A flying bathtub. You know, the logical thing that flies. But this brings us to the group finding the island, which appears to be within a hollowed out bone of the Titan. Lilith also notes that the island shouldn't be here and it doesn't appear on any maps. Whether this island is just that much of a secret or if it has been removed from any documentation, I wouldn't be surprised either way. Especially with the latter, we know that there is an unauthorized history of the Boiling Isles, so that would indicate that there is an authorized version from Belos. So any information regarding the Titan or the Boiling Isles being removed wouldn't be that shocking. It would appear that Belos isn't aware of King's connection to the island though. If he would go as far to remove this island's location from maps, he would also probably want to make sure anything inhabiting it would be kept secret as well. But if King does have some sort of big connection to the Titan, then it's probably only a matter of time before Belos is aware. Arriving at the shore, King mentions that he woke up in Ida's arms and that she carried him away. And upon arriving to the entrance of the tower, we see that the opening is shaped like a keyhole. Now, maybe it's just coincidence, but with how important keys, doors, and portals will be this season, I am wondering if this place will have any connection to Luce finding a way home. I know this is mainly connected to King and his backstory, but it seems to have even more importance beyond that. Especially with Lilith noting how strange the material and symbols are, estimating that they predate any language Lilith knows. This also implies that the Boiling Isles has multiple used languages. With how old this tower is, I can only imagine it has some sort of connection to the Titan, which has to be the oldest thing on the Boiling Isles because, you know, its corpse is the Boiling Isles. Once inside, there is a map of the stars and planets on the wall. Again, that makes it seem like this tower is connected to other worlds or world travel in some way. Or maybe this has something to do with the Day of Unity. Lilith and Hootie then discover ancient carvings that predate any of Lilith's knowledge on history. The creature in the picture bearing a resemblance to King, however, appears to be much larger, having what seems to be a pauldron on the right arm and possibly the left arm too, though it's covered by a pelt or fur and also has a beard. But you know, other than those things, just like King. Now, I'm sure there are other two-horned demons, but there is a really big, really old two-horned titan that is the Boiling Isles. I know the skull and face shape don't match up exactly, but it could still be a possibility. However, I think the following mural that isn't really shown that much in this episode actually kind of debunks that theory. We see the creature from the previous mural, this time with a spear and no beard, but they are fighting a large creature, a creature that looks partly skeletal. Now, for the sake of this, let's just say the creature on the right is the Titan of the Boiling Isles. The creature on the left may be King's father and possibly the one who slayed or at least battled the Titan. We do know that Titans may have roamed freely in this realm many years ago from the unauthorized history of the Boiling Isles. The Boiling Isles, named after the raging hot water of the boiling sea, are composed of the bones of a fallen Titan. Throughout the ages, other monumental bones have been sighted in the boiling seas, raising the possibility that many such creatures stalked the demon realm in eons past. But as yet, the Titan of the Boiling Isles remains the only complete skeleton known. Where did the Titans come from? How did they perish? I hope one day we can uncover these mysteries. So maybe King isn't the son of the Boiling Isles Titan, but another Titan that did battle with it. Like I mentioned in my reaction, there is also the book from Understanding Willow that, when decoded, says the Titan and his spawn. Dana and the crew seem like they would try and sneak something like that in to foreshadow stuff in the next season. Alternatively, these may not be Titans, but giants. We know that they exist in the world of the Boiling Isles from the Bat Queen, who was a palisman for one. In the mural, it also looks like the creature on the right has a staff, and the mural being destroyed at the top to prevent us from knowing for sure doesn't seem to be coincidental. We haven't seen the Bat Queen since Escape of the Palisman, so it's only a matter of time till we see her again, so she may have more importance than we thought. But there is also this comet or meteor in the background in the mural. At least off the top of my head, I can't think of any comets or meteors that have been brought up in the show, but perhaps it has some significance that will be revealed later. When looking at the rest of the chamber, Luce inquires about the hole blocked by rubble. The only thing King can remember is hearing a muffled roar, perhaps the roar of one of these creatures from the mural. Now Luce goes off on her own and discovers a hallway full of these statues, one of which is active and pursuing the group. And I love seeing how much progress Lilith is making with her glyphs, using a light spell earlier and now using ice glyphs for icicles. And like I said earlier, I love the student-teacher relationship of Lilith and Luce, with Luce always encouraging Lilith and Lilith always wanting to impress Luce. Speaking of using different forms of magic, I like how Ida is using her potion-making skills to fight. While I'm sure Ida will use glyphs more at some point, I do like that we're seeing her track from Hexside come into play. This statue is also the one that pursued Ida 8 years ago when she first found the island and King. But this leads Ida to revealing that the statue creature cannot leave the tower. This prompts Luce to refer to her and the group as intruders to the statue creature. King realizes Luce thinks he is lying about his past and his memories, and Ida then tells King the truth about how they really met. Also, as a side note, I like that Lilith is the one to patch up Ida's injuries. Just nice seeing these two actually getting along and taking care of each other. But 8 years ago, Ida was trying to hide from the Emperor's Coven. The island then appeared out of the mist. Seeking shelter from the rain, Ida entered the tower and found King, who at the time was a baby building small statue creatures by stacking rocks. And fun fact, Dana actually voiced Baby King, and she also did King's rage squeal too from Escape of the Palisman. Now, Ida thought that King was a stray dog, so this would imply that there are no other known demons like King on the Boiling Isles, at least that Ida was aware of at the time. When the statue creature tried to attack Ida, she grabbed King and fled, but King was hit with an arrow and had his horn chipped. Ida then brought King back to the owl house and got him a collar since she believed he was a pet. And he continued his habit of stacking objects, and Ida jokingly called him a king of his subjects. This led to the name sticking, and also where King got all of his ideas about his past. Obviously, King doesn't take this news well, with him questioning his whole life and realizing that it's built on lies. The chipped horn that Ida kept with her even lets King have a glimpse of his real past. And again, I want to give credit to Alex in these scenes because I think they are some of his best voiceover work. King runs off, and it's Luce who is able to find him and convince him to head back to the tower to really uncover the secret about his past. Like I said earlier, I really do like this scene a lot between Luce and King, and I think it will be a big moment going forward for the two. I also think the following scene of King and Ida promising to only tell the truth from now on is also a big moment. Though I'm sure there will be plenty of secrets and mystery to uncover this season, it's nice knowing that there won't be any more between these two. With everyone on the same page now, the group heads back into the tower. Lilith and Hootie acting as distractions, with Hootie being a potion rocket launcher. And also I love this little note that Ida left on the bottle. But Luce, Ida, and King sneak by with an invisibility glyph and bust through the rubble in the ceiling. With the entrance cleared, they all go to the upper level. While initially it looks like there's nothing there, King is able to open a door within the room. This leads to the group discovering an ancient chamber, Lilith noting that the statue creature within the tower was likely tasked with protecting whatever was within. And with King reconnecting with his chipped horn, they realize the thing the statue was trying to protect was King, as he was born within this room. King also recalls hearing a roar and then a loud crashing noise. However, as he was literally a fetus, he went back to sleep. And the next time he woke up, he was born. One of the first things he sees is this mysterious symbol. The tower itself seems to be some sort of planetarium with this moon shown behind the symbol. I am wondering if it or the sun have to align with this symbol for something to happen. Maybe it's even connected to the Day of Unity. Or maybe it's just a symbol with significance. With Baby King opening the door, the statue creature took him below to the main floor of the tower where he lived until Ida came along. King also knows that the roar he heard called him son. He isn't sure how he even knows it, but he's certain. This leads to King believing it was his dad, and Lou suggests that the one seen in the murals below is King's father. But before we can get into any in-episode theorizing, the statue creature busts through the door, however stops at King's command. And for how badly King wanted to be a ruler and commander in previous episodes, he now has something that will listen to his orders. But I do like that it only comes after he faces the truth about his past. Also, I like that while Luce and Ida were about to get attacked, Lilith was just off documenting stuff with her Polaroid camera, which apparently exists on the Boiling Isles. But King now wants to find his dad. He's not sure if he's still alive or not. Based on what Ida said, King is probably around 8 years old, so he could still be out there. And Luce promises to help him in any way she can with that. And King uses this as an opportunity to keep his guardian. And I guess Hootie's vote overrules everyone else's because he's the only one that said yes and they ended up keeping him. Now renamed Jean-Luc, although leaving the tower caused him to stop moving, so he's just a fancy hat holder now. But King also carves the symbol he saw in the tower into his tag, mentioning that it could translate to his name. Luce also glues his horn back on, and I hope you use super glue or Gorilla Glue, Luce, because Elmer's glue probably isn't gonna last that long. Before King goes to bed, he questions if he can still go by King, since he really isn't the king of anything. But Luce reassures him by saying that he'll always be the king of her heart. And he seems content with that, getting tucked in by Luce before saying goodnight and getting goodnight kisses. Minus kisses for Jean-Luc though. Looking back at the photos that Lilith took, Ida and her do some theorizing and research to figure out what exactly that tower is and how it connects to King. And no matter what it all means, Luce and the group will be there to help him in any way they can. So definitely a lot to unpack here going forward when it comes to King and his past. The tower, the symbol, and these figures in the mural are all big question marks for us right now. Considering we basically went a whole season without getting anything on King, an episode like Echoes of the Past is certainly welcome. And there is still so much to learn and uncover. It wasn't all answered for us in just one episode, which makes me even more excited for what's in store. I think Echoes of the Past was probably the most lore-heavy episode we have had in a while, and I know we're only 3 episodes into season 2, but I have been blown away with how strong each of the episodes have been so far. If Dana and the crew keep this momentum going the whole season, which I'm sure they will, then season 2 of The Owl House will really be something special. Overall, I think Echoes of the Past really succeeded in setting up the plot thread of King's past for this season. We also had some really great moments with the group actually working together, and of course we had a lot of development for King. And I'm excited to see how he acts going forward now that he doesn't have this idea of a powerful king of demons that he has to live up to. But like I just said, season 2 is already off to an amazing start and we're only just getting started, which makes me even more excited to see where the show goes moving forward. Thank you so much for watching, I hope you have a fantastic day, and until next time guys, take care.